What is up, guys? DJ Cam here, and iOS 26 is here in the flesh. So you already know I've got my hands on the Developer 1 preview. So I'm gonna walk you through the OS, show you what's new, and yeah, let's just kind of get right into it. All right, so iOS 26, and if you've ever used an iPhone before, you of course know this sort of welcome screen. It's got my picture there because obviously I've signed in, but this test device is an iPhone 16. By the way, if you are into the Apple betas, you know, it's obviously always recommended to not install beta on your primary device. So this is not my primary device. It's often recommended to wait to install a beta, at least until it gets to the public beta, which will likely be within the next, 4 to 6 weeks or so. But for now, this is going to be the Developer Preview 1, the first iOS 26 version that developers have gotten to be able to test and to do different things. So chances are we might see some bugs or whatever. You know, if we see any tweaks, or if we see it tweaking at all, then we know that it's likely a bug. But the beta tester community is usually pretty good about reporting those bugs. If you do install a beta, you do get there's an app that's installed where you can actually report bugs too. So let's go ahead and dive in. So again, we're just gonna swipe up, and this should take us, okay, perfect, software update complete. And I can tell right away what's different here. These buttons, I could tell right away these look different than before. So I think we're getting a lot of that rounding that we're seeing with this whole liquid glass stuff. But we'll set up Face ID later. We're going to not use a passcode right now. Perfect. Go ahead and go through all of this fun stuff. Don't share. Voila. Welcome to iOS 26. And I need to go ahead and turn off these notifications. Oh my gosh, leave me alone. So while this is not my primary device, when I've signed into iCloud, it's started to sync up iMessage and all these things. So try to hold off those notifications. But yeah, so I mean, first impressions, definitely it looks like what we're expecting, right? If you caught my WWDC 2025 overview, we kind of saw this already. Let me go ahead and brighten this up. But just look at this control center. Again, this kind of rounded feel than before. You can see kind of that liquid glass translucence kind of coming through, which something tells me they'll probably want to darken the background a bit more because it is a little bit, I think, busy, a little distracting. So if they just kind of, bring back that background a bit, I think it'll be in good shape. So back to the home screen. Let's go ahead and just walk through some common apps, and hopefully my lighting is good here. You never know until you get it into the computer, but let's go ahead and just dive into some of the apps, see what's different, see what's not different. Let's start with the weather. So yeah, we'll go ahead and while using. And so yeah, while the top, or kind of the main view, looks different, we do see kind of some of this liquid glass coming through at the bottom, which looks cool. As I scroll, you can see how it changes to match what's in the background. So that's actually pretty slick. Let's slide over here to a different area. Miami. Oh boy, what I would give to be there right now. Let's go ahead and interact with some of these things. Okay, so similarly, if we wanted to search for a new location, we can see that bar there. So that's pretty cool, nothing crazy. But let's go ahead and go back to home here. You can kind of see what this new pop-up window looks like. That's completely different. Okay, let's pop over to calendar. What's new? Scheduled reminders, customizable month view, suggested events and locations. Allow. Let's go ahead and look at the multi-day. So this looks pretty cool. Again, rounded kind of aesthetic going on here. So that's pretty cool. How do I get to the month view? That's what I really want to see. You would think I have not used iOS before. I promise I have, but things are kind of in a different, okay, month view, there we go. Yeah, so that looks pretty cool. Nothing crazy, it's calendar, right? It's calendar app. All right, moving right along. Let's check out notes. And I may, depending on what's in there, I may need to blur it out, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, good, it hasn't synced up yet. We'll allow notifications for that, but let's just pretend I want to do a new note. Again, that rounded aesthetic. You guys are kind of seeing the theme here. And otherwise, notes looks pretty much the same. Some new buttons up top, so that's cool. All right. Reminders. What's new in reminders? Perfect, yep. So pretty standard. Yeah, no, just some generic notes here. Next, clock. And again, more of this rounded aesthetic. That's cool. As I swipe through or as I tap through, you can kind of see this animation where we get more of that liquid glass, so that's nice. Let's pop over to Apple News. Something tells me this is gonna be the same, but let's see. No personalized ads, please. All right, yep. And so again, we get that floating bar that they teased there in WWDC. I like how it kind of goes away based on kind of what you got going on. If that goes away, if I hit that, boom, it reappears. Similarly, save button, that's cool. Apple TV, same thing. Navigation bar floating there on top of the content, so that's nice. Podcast, which I don't really use, but let's check it out anyway. Yeah, nothing major there. Let's go over to the App Store because I know that there was going to be kind of a new look to this. Let's see. While using. Yeah. So a minor design upgrade here. Games. Ooh, let's get that back in the frame there. And if you haven't checked out Apple Arcade and you're into mobile gaming, definitely check it out. The games there are always really high quality. Really high quality. Okay. Let's check out Maps. Which I'm not sure if there's a bunch of updates with this or not, but let's take a look. Okay. Oh my gosh, so many. How long do you want Maps to keep your visits? Forever, okay. Yep. So this looks to be about the same as before. Let's check out some of these points of interest and whatnot. Okay, nice little discovery, which I don't believe this is new for iOS 26, but cool nevertheless. All right, let's go over to settings here. And this looks to be pretty standard, although you can see some design changes, like for example this airplane mode. That toggle looks kind of funky, kind of more of a pill shape than before, but that's cool. Okay. Everything else appears to be in order here. Yeah, nothing major, but the menus do look different, so that's nice. Check out Apple Intelligence. Yeah, a bunch of settings there. All right, what else do we got here? Books. Don't really care about that. Fitness, iTunes Store, iBooks. Yeah, I mean, just kind of overall, you can just see these updated icons, which, you know, some are more subtle than others, but I certainly like that camera icon. It looks really good. Whoop. see what this looks like. We'll set up photographic styles later. Let's see what that front-facing camera looks like. Oh, hello. Hello there, everybody. But yeah, so you can immediately see this simplistic sort of UI, right? I mean, we talked about this in my previous WWDC video, but just kind of a 2-tab arrangement here, which is interesting. But if there were any other things that you did want to, you know, control, you do get, you know, that menu up in the upper right, and I believe there's, oh, you can kind of just swipe up from the bottom and get to it as well. So just a tap away. Oh, you can just tap it, I see. Okay. That's where you can get to, you know, the flash, timer, exposure, all that good stuff too. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And then, you know, you can choose your shared library or not, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely interested in checking out the camera app a bit more. And we'll go ahead and go back home there. Next, let's pop over to Apple Music. I don't need notifications from you at the moment, thank you. But yeah, this looks pretty similar. Oh, that was a pretty cool little effect. Oh, did it, was that just a bug? I don't know if you saw that, it kind of like cascaded. But you do see that floating bar. It's pretty much transparent, although you can't see, oh, you can kind of see the words R&B behind here. But let's see what it looks like when there's actually a song playing. Let me go turn the volume way down. Okay, perfect. Play. Okay, so we got some Sabrina Carpenter playing here. Okay, so it just kind of floats there. Let's open it up. I don't want the lyrics. How do I just get to the album art? I'm a Spotify user, so Apple Music isn't really my deal. But I know a lot of people love Apple Music, so more power to you. But anyway, you got that, and of course you see it up there in the dynamic island playing. Now, let's go over to iMessage, and again, there might be some stuff I need to hide here, but we'll do that in post. Shared content, okay, allow, perfect. All right, so it's still syncing everything, but this is what iMessage looks like now, which I think it looks okay. This is my first time seeing it in this thread view. But yeah, you know, you got your search there. New message, and again, you get these rounded bubbles now. Everything's sort of like separated, interestingly. So you got your to, which is separate from the new message box. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and pop over here. Let's just text Cameron. We'll go here. Okay. So this is an SMS thread, not a iMessage thread, but I just wanted to see some of these things. So all this looks pretty standard compared to iOS 18. Keyboard looks slightly different. I think the colors have changed just a little bit. Let's check out emojis here. That appears to be in order as well. So yeah, that is iMessage. And let's just pop over here. You can update your avatar or your posters from up here. But very cool. All right, now let's pop over to Safari. And if you remember, in my WWDC, I did mention how we do get full screen browsing, so to speak, with a floating kind of menu bar here. Which, by the way, if you did want to be able to download developer betas, you're able to do that by registering your account with Apple. Maybe I'll leave the link in the description, but once you do that, then you're able to go ahead and download a profile, a profile that will then enable you to go into, maybe, it'll pop up in here where you're able to actually go in and turn on or off, you know, hey, beta updates or not, and you're able to choose, hey, do you want a developer update or do you want to do public updates? Or public betas, excuse me, that type of thing. I don't know why it's taking a while to load, but I promise it would be in there, so I'm not gonna wait for it. but it would be there, promise. Here we go. I'm not sure why this is showing up again. I guess I know this isn't beta 2, so there must just be like a little patch or something that they put out. But that's one thing that's cool about the developer betas, is that you do get updates relatively often. So if there are bugs, they're often squashed relatively quickly. And there's a great amount of community, relating to these types of betas, where you're able to go and see if others are experiencing the same problems as you. For example, oftentimes with developer betas, the battery life is often impacted. And so in this case, if this were running iOS 18, let's say I'm getting 8 hours a day screen on time. With the beta, it might only be 4, so it just kind of depends, but there's just little things like that. So let's keep going here. Let's go and pop over to Mail. And this looks, again, following the same theme, floating taskbar at the bottom, rounded buttons and such. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I do look forward to kind of getting it and putting it through its paces, like with my actual information and all that good stuff. But for now, this is, I think, a good sneak peek. It is new, but I think that it is very familiar as well, right? So, and again, swiping over from home, you do get your usual suspects here, your widgets and whatnot that you can of course customize and things like that. So now let's go ahead and check out the dialer. Okay, looks pretty familiar. Calls here, contacts, and you can also search as well. Okay, check out Apple Health for fun. I'm not in here as nearly as I should be. Let me go ahead and make sure I blur out my information there. Apparently I had a high heart rate at some point. Don't know what I was doing. But yeah, this looks very similar. Again, with the floating kind of navigation there at the bottom. And that's Apple Health. As we wrap up this video, obviously it does look different, but at the end of the day, I think it's kind of back to what I said. It's different but very familiar. I think this was a relatively safe, thing. But before we wrap up, though, I do want to talk about Apple Intelligence briefly. I just want to test out some of those features. So let's go ahead and do that here. First of all, let me go ahead and just enable Siri. What's the weather tomorrow? Okay, let me actually turn up the volume so we can, oh my gosh. Turn that off. Oh my gosh. No, okay. Weird things are happening. Let's try this again. How intelligent are you? What's the square root of 69? Tell me more about the first president. Tell me the meaning of life. Yeah, so yeah, we got a little bit of work. We got a little bit of work to do. Like compared to like a Chat GPT, right? It's not guiding you to different internet directories. It gives you the answer, right? And so I think that's kind of what people are waiting for, where Apple Intelligence can just start to just display what those answers are. But I think that's not what Apple's goal is. I think their goal is to create this sort of local AI environment based on your data only. So I think it's not necessarily for information that's out there like history or whatever. I think it's more of your own AI based on your data. So your text messages, your calendar, your contacts, your emails, right? building kind of this profile on you that it can then, you know, report back to you and whatever queries or prompts that you presented. So this is the developer beta 1. This is fresh, right? So what you see here is not final. Although in using it, it has been pretty reliable. It seems so far like I haven't seen anything too crazy, but again, I've not been using it day to day, in and out yet. But yeah, I think it's going to be a fine release. I mean, Apple is good. Even Apple Intelligence aside, I think that this is going to be just fine. And yeah, it'll just take a little time for them to kind of get everything, you know, worked out. But yeah, I think that's been about it for now. So definitely, I'm going to spend some more time with this, put it through its paces a bit more. But I wanted to give you just a first look on, you know, what iOS looks like, what you might expect in the future. But at the end of the day, right now, it's looking like iOS. And there you have it, your first look at iOS 26. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. And if you've not already, please like this video and get subscribed. We're going to be covering Apple and other things, Samsung, DJing, all sorts of fun stuff. So we hope to see you in the next one. But for now, peace out. Everybody have a great day.